Have you ever just looked at your dog, this incredibly smart, capable dog, and watched them do something that makes absolutely no sense? Like nipping at your heels when you walk away, or staring at a squirrel with an intensity that's, frankly, a little scary, or maybe trying to herd your kids into a tight little group in the backyard. Yeah, you are not alone. These brilliant, high-energy, and sometimes kind of intense dogs are running on ancient software, a job description that's just hardwired into their DNA. So let's get into it. Let's figure out what really makes your herding dog tick.
Okay, so let me introduce you to Shelby. She's a German Shepherd, and her owner says that at home, well, she could be a bit of a handful. House training was a struggle, she could be reactive with strangers, but you put her in a field with some sheep? Oh, she's a genius, an absolute rock star. She's focused, she's skilled, she's completely in her element. Shelby is the perfect example of a dog that was born for a job. And that right there, that's the million-dollar question for so many of us, isn't it? How can this same dog be so brilliant at one thing, but then display behaviors at home that just feel like problems? Well, the answer, the key to all of this, is understanding the job they were bred for. Because that job, it never really goes away, even when the sheep are long, long gone.
And here it is. This is the single most important thing to get your head around. Every single thing your herding dog does, every instinct, from that intense stare to the quick little nip, it's all a piece of the wolf's original hunting sequence. Think about it. For thousands of years, we humans have been selectively breeding them. We've turned the volume way down on the final kill part of the hunt, but we've cranked the volume way up on the stalking, the chasing, and the corralling. So your dog isn't being bad, it's just a predator, acting out its instincts without that final deadly step.
And this isn't some new thing. We're talking about a working relationship that goes back something like 10,000 years, right around the time we started domesticating livestock in the first place. I mean, there's archaeological evidence from over 5,000 years ago of dogs and sheep being buried together. The modern breeds we know today started to take shape hundreds of years ago, each one meticulously fine-tuned for a specific place and a specific job. This isn't just training. It's a legacy written deep in their genes.
But here's where it gets really interesting. Not all herding is the same. Just like different predators have different ways of hunting, herding dogs have developed their own distinct working styles. And figuring out which group your dog belongs to, well, that's the key to unlocking their specific, sometimes quirky behaviors.
First up, we've got the drivers. You probably know them as heelers, so think of dogs like the Australian cattle dog or even a corgi. Their whole job is to get behind the herd and push it forward. And that nipping at your heels that they do, it's not really aggression. It's a tool. It's how they communicate. It's how they tell a 1,000-pound cow, hey you, time to get a move on. Then you have the fetchers, or headers. The poster child for this style is, of course, the Border Collie. Now, instead of pushing from behind, their instinct is to run out wide, get to the front of the flock, and turn it back towards the handler. And their number one tool is the famous strong eye, that crazy, intense, almost hypnotic stare that can control a whole flock of sheep with just a look. That is a direct, undeniable modification of a predator stalking its prey. And finally, we've got the tenders. Breeds like the German Shepherd or the Briard, their job is to act as a living fence. It's less about high-speed chases and more about incredible endurance. They patrol the perimeter of a huge grazing area for hours and hours, just keeping the flock together, keeping them safe, and making sure they don't wander into, say, an unfenced field of crops. Their job is to create and maintain boundaries.
So, just to put it all together real quick, you have your drivers, the heelers, pushing from behind with those little nips. You've got your fetchers, the headers, controlling everything from the front with that powerful, strong eye. And then you've got your tenders, the living fences, who patrol the perimeter. 3 very different styles, all pulling from that same ancient predatory playbook to get the job done.
Okay, so what in the world does any of this have to do with your dog, who lives in a house in the suburbs and has probably never even seen a real sheep? The answer is everything. Absolutely everything. Because a dog that was bred for a job will always find a way to do that job, whether the materials are appropriate or not.
And this slide, this is where it all clicks into place. The behaviors translate directly. A heeler that was bred to nip at the heels of cattle doesn't see a running child. It sees a small, fast-moving creature that needs to be moved along. A Border Collie's strong eye gets pointed at squirrels or passing bikes or even the mailman. A tending dog, like a German Shepherd, might start controlling who's allowed to come in and out of the kitchen.
The job is exactly the same, it's just the livestock that has changed. This explains so much, doesn't it? All those behaviors we see, the chasing, the controlling, the constant barking at the window, that freeze and stare thing they do, the nipping at your pants, these are not random acts of a naughty dog. They are all expressions of a deeply ingrained genetic need to work. Even something like neophobia, a fear of new things, that can come from an instinct to be super wary of anything that might threaten or disrupt the flock.
So the moment we really understand the why, we can stop seeing these things as problem behaviors. We can start seeing them for what they really are. They're clues. They're clues that are telling us exactly what our dogs need from us to feel happy and balanced and fulfilled.
And the key is to completely reframe the whole situation. Your dog is not trying to be a pain. Your dog is unemployed and it's bored out of its mind. It's got a resume that's 10,000 years long and it is desperately looking for work. So our challenge as their owners isn't to crush these instincts. It's to give them a safe and healthy and productive outlet.
A really simple way to think about this is with 4 main pillars. Number 1, physical exercise. You've got to burn off that incredible energy. Number 2, mental enrichment. Puzzles, games, things to keep that brilliant brain busy. 3, clear communication, so they know what their role is in your family flock. And 4, positive training, which taps right into their deep, deep desire to work with you as a team.
So what does this look like in the real world? It's all about fulfilling the function of the behavior. If your Aussie is trying to herd your kids around the yard, don't just yell at them. Redirect that impulse onto something okay, like a giant herding ball. If your collie is obsessed with chasing cars, which is super dangerous, get them into an agility or a flyball class, where they can chase safely and get rewarded for it. You have to give the instinct a proper job to do.
So the big takeaway here is that you don't really own a pet in the way most people think of it. You're more like the manager of a highly skilled specialist, an athlete with a brain that has been fine-tuned for generations to do an incredibly complex job.
And once you truly understand the why, your whole perspective just shifts. That frustration you used to feel when your corgi nipped your ankle, it gets replaced with this sense of awe for its amazing heritage. The annoyance at the constant barking, well, it turns into an appreciation for its vigilance. You're no longer fighting against your dog's nature. You're finally working with it.
And that leaves us with one last question to really think about. These amazing dogs were purpose-built for a world that, for most of them, just doesn't exist anymore. So as we bring them into our homes, into our cities, so far from the fields and flocks they were designed for, what is our responsibility? What is our duty to that ancient job, to that little bit of wolf still living inside the mind of our shepherd? It's definitely something to think about.
Like this video, subscribe to the channel, and press the bell icon. That way you'll never miss an update. Thanks for watching.